Let me ask you a question. Are you trying to time the housing market? Hey, it's Craig back with another Mortgage Minute, and I want to talk to you about timing the housing market, okay? Because I do hear that occasionally from buyers like, hey, yeah, I'm trying to just figure out when's the right time to buy. And listen, maybe the right time to buy is we are trying to decide, which town we want to live in. Well, that's a excellent reason to to figure out the right time to buy, or maybe maybe a job change is going to happen and I might be moving out of this market, but I'm not 100% sure. Those are excellent reasons to to just kind of slow down a little bit and make sure that the timing's right. But if you're trying to time buying a home by just the right time on home prices, I think you're going to most times lose out on that. So, a lot of times people like to think of housing as a very easy way to just think of knowing exactly where home prices are going to be, and that's just not the way it happens. Okay, so here's the reality: home prices a couple of years ago, and even last year, were a little bit higher than they are today. Okay. So there will be a point at some point to where we all can look at home prices and say, yep, home prices went down a little bit and then they hit the bottom and then they went back up. Okay. This illustration here looks at, okay, when's the best time to buy? Is it right before you get to the bottom? I mean, obviously getting it directly at the bottom would be the time, but that's impossible to know exactly when that would be. So when's the best time? Before it hits the bottom or after? Well, you know what? It's actually before it hits the bottom, because before it hits the bottom, sellers are more fearful and there's less competition of other buyers. Okay. And so what we feel is going to happen over the course of the next 6 to 12 months is, as interest rates come down, there's going to be a lot of buyers that decide, oh, you know what? Now I need to buy a home. Okay. And so what's going to happen is more buyers jump into the market. There's more competitions for the same properties, and it's harder to negotiate with a seller. Okay. So at this point, before we hit the bottom, sellers are going to generally be more willing to negotiate with you, right? Because there's going to be less offers on their house. After we hit the bottom and as prices start to rise, and this will happen at some point, like I said, in the next 6 to 12 months, you're going to see prices start to rise. I'm not saying it's going to be, as extreme as it was in 2020 and 2021, but prices will start to rise. Guess what? There's going to be more competition for houses, and sellers going to be like, hey, you know what? I don't have to negotiate now as much, because before I might have only had one offer on the house. Now I've got 6 offers on the house. So guess what? I don't have to negotiate. So that is a very real thing. So if you're trying to time the market, here's where you want to be. You don't want to be on the backside of this. But let me tell you something else to think about. If we go back to the last cycle to where we really kind of had a bottom out, that would have been in 2012. Okay. And you can kind of see on this chart, Case-Shiller, I might be pronouncing that wrong. Maybe it's Sheeler, but anyway, whatever, shows that home prices really kind of bottomed out somewhere around, call it February of 2012. Okay. And then what did you see happen from there? What you saw happen from there is home prices rose and rose and rose. And so the next year, home prices went up roughly 8%. Okay. So this is showing you, as housing markets do, if there is a bottom out, which there always is, if prices start to go back a little bit, they're going to start to increase. Okay. And this is with 2.4 million in inventory. Now, this is a really important thing to keep in mind. Okay. In 2012, there was 2.4 million in inventory. In 2023, it's 980,000. So there was even more inventory back then when you had that 8% year over year appreciation. So the reason we have been real, like just screaming at the top of our lungs, like, hey, look, this is a great market for buyers, is we still have low inventory. Okay. So right now is a great time to jump in and negotiate with sellers, because they're more willing to negotiate with you. Listen, as interest rates start to come down, and they will, buyers will jump off the fence. And now, guess what? We already had tight inventory to begin with, and when there's more buyers looking, it's going to be even tighter. It's going to be harder to buy a home later this year. So for all those reasons, now's an excellent time to look at this. If you want to take a look at your options, would love to talk to you about it. My number is 615-498-5626. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about your options, and I appreciate you watching.